Hello, friends. This is Benjamin from English Classes Online. Today, we want to look at how to answer English objective questions in the West African Senior School Certificate Examinations and Neco or National Examinations Council Senior School Certificate Examinations. We want to show the candidates the step-by-step procedure for picking the correct answers in this important section of the English exam. Now, if you are interested in videos like this, kindly subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification bell as well, so that whenever I upload a new video on this channel, you will be notified instantly, and you will have free access to all the videos that are being uploaded regularly on this channel. Now, let's go right away into the topic, as it is important and vast. We want to look at it together. So here we are, how to answer English objective test questions in Wassce Neco Ssce. As I earlier mentioned, our focus will be on hints on lexis and structure. And there are 6 different sections that make up this part of the exam, which is English language paper 2. These are the various questions, but before we start looking at how these questions are answered, I want us to familiarize ourselves with the grammatical principles. Now, the word lexis refers to all the words and phrases of a particular language. It is the linguistics terminology for words, their choice and appropriateness in a text. That's really what lexis is about. The word structure refers to the way in which the parts of something are connected together, arranged, or organized. In linguistics, it refers to how the grammatical units of English combine to form the grammatical structures. In the Wassce or Neco, lexis and structure feature in the English language 2 objective test questions, which is what we are looking at. In this part of the examination, known as paper 2, there are usually 100 multiple choice objective type questions, 40 questions on lexis, and 60 questions on structure. The paper is meant to test your knowledge of the vocabulary of everyday use of the language and the special vocabulary dealing with some important areas of language activity. The various sections of the paper, normally 6 sections, contain questions on various aspects of lexis and structure. We are going to illustrate with the June 2010, and we look at section 1. This section contains questions on antonyms, Antonyms are words opposite in meaning. You can pause on each of these and read up the notes I have included here. Section 2, this section contains questions on collocations. Collocation is the fact that certain words are used together in English sentences. As human beings keep company or associate with one another, so certain English words tend to be used together. We shall be looking at them. Section 2, we test your knowledge of collocations. Section 3, this contains questions on idioms and idiomatic expressions, and we shall be looking at this. Section 4, the questions featured in this section are on synonyms. Synonyms are words nearest in meaning, whereas antonyms are words opposite in meaning. Now, section 5, this section contains questions on the use of various forms of grammatical structures such as phrasal verbs, prepositions, in terms of collocation, grammatical concord, sequence of tenses, and so on. Then finally, section 6. This section contains questions on register. That's the words associated with a particular subject or activity. I remember a notable English scholar known as Jonathan Swift. He defined register as putting proper words in proper places. And section 6 of the Neco or Wassce paper 2 will test your knowledge of register. And we shall be looking at all this one by one. So now let's go back and begin with section 1. Look at section 1 here. In each of the following sentences, there is one underlined word and one gap. From the words lettered A to D, choose the one that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined word and that will at the same time correctly fill the gap in the sentence. Okay, now let's look at them. Number 1, the handsome. Note the word underlined is handsome. The handsome profit from her fish business made Mrs. Uba stop complaining about her husband's dash salary. Now we are to look for a word that is opposite to handsome, but that will fill in the gap. So we are not just dealing with ordinary antonym or a word just merely opposite in meaning, but what I can describe as contextual antonym. Now, the word has to fit in here. It has to be opposite to handsome, and it has to be a good modifier for salary. Now, option A is ugly. Ordinarily, ugly is the opposite of handsome, but it is wrong to say her husband's ugly salary. Such words are not used in English. So we have to look for a better option. B is meager, and this is the correct one. The word meager is poor, you know. So that is the correct answer. Option C is modest, no. D is lowly, no. So the answer is meager. Number 2, Chief Ssce prefers fame in the village to dash in the city. Now, fame is popularity. A, neglect, no. B, ignorance, no. C, poverty, no. D is obscurity, and that is the correct one. So here, the test is on your vocabulary, your active vocabulary, how much you know of English words, their meanings, and their correct usage. All right? Number 3, the media houses should employ both the novice and the dash journalist. A novice is somebody who is just new to a system, who is not very knowledgeable about a particular thing. All right? Can we say apprentice journalist? No. Probationer journalist? No. Newcomer journalist? No. But of course, we know that people talk of a veteran journalist. All right, so that's the correct answer, veteran. Number 4, while the registrar considers the matter insignificant, his deputy sees it as dash. When something is insignificant, it is unimportant. But then in this context, is it minute? Can you consider a matter as minute? No. B, crucial. That is correct, because a matter is either crucial, you know, when we say something is crucial, it's very important. And that can be the opposite of insignificant in this particular context. C, compulsory, no. D, marvelous, no. Number 5, it pays to be firm rather than dash in a case like this. If you are firm, you are rigid. A, flexible, and that's actually the answer. The opposite of firm or rigid is flexible, you know, easily you know, easy to bend or to change or reconsider. All right? B is frank, no. C is irresponsible, no. D is careless, no. Number 6, usually Joseph is articulate in his speech, but today he sounds dash. Clear, no. Turgid, no. Timid, no. Incoherent. When you are articulate, it means that, you know, your words come with clarity. Clear is the meaning of articulate, but then incoherent is the opposite. Number 7, the man's first wife is loyal, while the second is dash. When you are loyal to someone, you are supportive and you are in agreement. All right? Then let's look at the option. Option A is unfaithful. Unfaithful has to do more with infidelity than with just being loyal. All right? So unkind, no. Selfish, no. Hostile, more like it. Hostile. You know, if you are loyal to someone, you are in agreement. When you are not loyal, you could be hostile. All right. Number 8, rather than convict him, the impartial judge dash him. A, blamed, no, the judge doesn't blame, just for blaming sake. B, dismissed, no. C, upheld, no. D, acquitted. So we can see that this section is testing not just your knowledge of antonyms, but antonyms that are collocative, that can collocate or fit into the context of use. Number 9, instead of reconciling her parents, Roxanne worked hard at dash them, A, dividing. Of course, you divide and rule. When you divide people, you set them against one another. Destroying, no. C, separating, no. D, isolating, no. Number 10, we thought that Uncle Sam's health had improved, but it had rather dash, A, persisted, no. We are looking for the appropriate term, the health terminology, which should be the opposite of improved. If your health is not improving, B, deteriorated, that is the appropriate word. That is to worsen, all right? D, deepened, no. D, decreased, no. So the answer is B. Now, we are going to section 2. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word that best completes each of the following sentences. So here we are dealing purely with collocation. As I earlier said, collocation is the fact that certain words tend to associate with each other or tend to be used together in English writings and speeches. And let's look at this. Number 11, one very important aspect of human relationship is dash trust. So we are looking for a word that collocates with trust, a word that is usually used together with trust in English sentences. What could that word be? A, communal, no. B, individual, no. C, mutual. Yes, of course, you hear people talk about mutual trust, mutual love, mutual benefit. You know, something that is beneficial to two persons that is equally of their interest is mutual. Number 12, 2 tasks were performed dash and we were able to finish early alternatively. Okay, we were able to finish early. Okay, let me go back. I need to adjust this so that we'll be able to see the words quite clearly. Okay, let's go back. That's 12. 2 tasks were performed dash and we were able to finish early. A, alternatively, no. B, simultaneously. That's quite correct. When two things are happening at the same time, then we say they are happening simultaneously. So that's the accurate question. The accurate answer, please. Number 13, the committee is charged with finding a dash solution to the crisis. A, lengthy, no. B, current, no. C, lasting. That's quite, you talk of a lasting solution. You know, that is collocation. These two words are like twins. Whenever we talk of solution, we are looking for a lasting solution to a given problem. So that is collocation. Words that tend to associate with one another, and two of them tend to be used regularly in English sentences. One word complements the other. That's what we mean by a collocation. So in this case, lasting is a collocate of solution. Number 14, we are worried by the dash that exists between the two factions of the party. A, distraction, no. B, commotion, no. C, confusion, no. D, rivalry. Rivalry is the enmity or the antagonism, the disagreement, the misunderstanding, if you like. Rivalry, you know. Two factions. When you have two factions, we also use the word rival, two rival groups, you know. All right, so number 15, our teacher was not speaking dash when he said that the bossa was under a cloud. You know, when you say someone is under a cloud, you mean that the person is under wide suspicion. People are looking at the person as someone who has done something wrong. But that is an idiom. So in this case, our teacher was not speaking literally. So A is the answer, literally, because words have literal meaning, is the direct meaning. Then you have connotative meaning or figurative meaning, if you like. So our teacher was not speaking literally. So we can say our teacher was speaking figuratively or idiomatically. Number 16, the signature on the document lacked dash, so it was rejected. Okay, so we have to, if a document is either genuine or is fake. All right, so let's look at option A is clarity. We're not talking of clarity here. The signature has to do with something more than clarity. B, authenticity, that's quite correct. The signature is authentic when it is believed to be the original signature of the signatory, and then it can become suspicious if it is assumed to be fake. So authenticity from the word authentic or genuine. C, formality, no. D, simplicity, no. So authenticity is the collocate of a document. A document can be authentic or it can be fake. 17, everyone could tell that Binta was happy from the dash on her face. Okay, picture on her face, no. Appearance on her face, well, but not quite. C, expression is the appropriate word. You talk of the expression on someone's face, all right? So that is the appropriate word. 18, his last novel was dashed by his visit to prisons. A, inspired, yes, of course, something, it can give you the idea for a book, you know. So if you say his novel was inspired by his visit to the prisons, then you are saying that his visit to the prisons gave him idea about the novel he was going to write. Probably the novel could be about life in the prison. Number 19, as a result of the power cut, production at the paint factory came to a dash. A, hold up, no. B, blockade, no. C, stand still, that's quite correct. D, suspense, no. You can use suspense for probably literature or drama. But here we are talking of a standstill. When something comes to a standstill, it comes to a halt. Number 20, several dash were passed at the meeting. Memoranda, well, no. Decisions, no, because we are talking of past. C, resolutions, yes. You pass resolutions at a meeting. Okay. You can say you reach decisions or you make decisions, but when you are passing something, it is really a resolution. All right, now we are through with section 2, and here we are in section 3. After each of the following sentences, a list of possible interpretations is given. Choose the interpretation that you consider most appropriate for each sentence. So here, section 3 is dealing with idioms and idiomatic expressions. So let's look at question 21. James and Henry were at daggers drawn when I knew them. This means that they, were angry, were always angry with each other. That's quite correct. B, always wore daggers. No. C, we are good at drawing daggers. No. D, we are fighting everybody. No. They were at daggers drawn, you know. So here, in getting your answers correctly in this section of idiomatic expressions, you have to use some techniques. You have to attempt to decode the idioms using imagery, using metaphor, and using symbolism. And I will be explaining how you use these techniques as we proceed. Now, using imagery, you can, when daggers, you know, are mentioned, at least it creates a mental picture. What do people use daggers to do? You don't draw a dagger when you are happy. You are angry with someone to the extent that you want to stab the person with a dagger. All right, when people draw a dagger, what happens? So that is the image. When you look at, consider the image or the mental picture that the expression, creates in your mind, then that will help you to figure out the meaning. And that is what I want you to understand. So the answer is that they were always angry with each other. 22, my book has become dog-eared through use. Again, this is another idiom, dog-eared. When you are using a book and over time it now becomes rumpled and possibly torn, at the edges, it is now dog-eared through use, because you have used it over time. This means that the corners of the the corners of the pages of my book are crumpled. That's just the answer. My book is designed like a dog's ears. No. My book is indispensable. No. My book is torn. Not necessarily. Or a book can be torn accidentally. But here, this one is the wear and tear that come with use. You have used it for a long time, and so it has become crumpled. Number 23, Musa does not believe that there is poverty in Africa. He is a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist. You know, when something is dyed in the wool, the thing is so, it has become so much part of it. It is so, it has become part of it that it's become difficult to change it. All right, so dyed in the wool, so that is, I want you to always look at imagery there. This means that Musa is a kind capitalist, no. B, a thoughtful capitalist, no. C, an old capitalist, no. D, an unbending capitalist. That's just the answer. Unbending, dyed in the wool. All right? Number 24, whenever my cousin comes to realize that I am telling the truth, she will eat humble pie. When you eat humble pie, the word humble there means that you know the pie you are eating is humble. It means you have realized, you have now come to your senses. You have come down from your arrogant position. You have humbled yourself. So what picture does it create in your mind? Let's look at the option. This means that my cousin will A, respect me, no, B, hate herself, no, C, apologize. That's quite correct. You know, when you eat a humble pie, it means you realize that the earlier position you took is wrong, and now the right thing is then to apologize. All right? Number 25, I had dinner with Tony and Nick, and they talked shop the whole time. This means that they talked A, about buying things from the shop, no. B, about their job, of course, that's correct. When you talk shop, you are discussing things about where you work or where you do business. So the correct thing is that they were talking about their job. When people talk shop, they're always talking about their profession or their career or their workplace. 26, his decision to reconcile with his former agent paid off. If something pays off, it works out just the way you expect it. It succeeds, literally, so to say, all right? This means that the reconciliation yielded positive results. Quite correct. Cost him a lot of money, no. Was unsuccessful, no. Cost him some trouble, definitely no. 27, the beauty of Bimpe's garden shows that she has seen green fingers. Now, again, another imagery, another instance of imagery here. Now, when we talk of green, we are talking of, we are talking about the garden, all right? We are talking about planting trees. We are talking about agriculture. That's the image, green. And if you can see green fingers are the things that enable you to do your work. So it must be somebody who is really conversant with gardening or something like that. Even if you don't know the exact meaning, the picture it creates, the mental picture it creates can enable you, can help you to decode the meaning. So let's look at the options. This means that Bimpe A always paints her finger green. No. B is good at growing plants. Definitely yes, is good at growing plants. Let's look at other options. C turns everything she touches to green. Certainly not. D likes keeping green objects. We are not talking of objects here. All right. All right, 28, I would have visited you, but for my father's ill health. Again, you see, I would have visited you, but my father's ill health prevented me from visiting you. So that's the simple meaning, and you need to actually arrive at the meaning before you start looking at the options. This means that my father's ill health would have made me visit you, no. B, father's ill health prevented me from visiting you. Certainly that is correct. Number 29, her father's death has forced her to tighten her belt. That's another idiomatic expression. When you tighten your belt, you are trying to economize, you are trying to reduce your expenses because you know that times are hard, right? This means that she has become more economical. That's quite correct. Adjusted her belt, no. Become very aggressive, no. Become very greedy, no. Question 30, some candidates take examinations in their stride. If you take something in your stride, you don't allow it to worry you or to annoy you or to embarrass you. You take it cool, right? This means that they, A, prepare hard for them, no. B, do not worry about them. Certainly, yes. C, find them insurmountable, no. D, are familiar with them, no. All right, let's proceed to section 4. From the words lettered A to D below each of the following sentences, choose the word or group of words that is nearest in meaning to the underlined word as it is used in the sentence. So here we are now looking at synonyms, right? Here we are looking at synonyms. So let's look at the questions. 31. The provocation had an instantaneous effect on someone. Something instantaneous is something happening immediately. From instant, you have instantaneous. So the provocation had an instantaneous effect on him. A, lasting, no. B, an immediate, that's quite correct. C, terrifying, no. D, momentous, not necessarily. You know, immediate effects will be more likely. Number 32, I woke up feeling rather queer. When you feel queer, something queer is unusual, is strange. All right, so A, fine, no. B, strange, that's quite correct. C, strong, no. D, tired, no. Number 33, if he declines the offer, when you decline something, you refuse or you reject, you say no to it, you disagree. If he declines the offer, it will be better for him. A, ignores, B, denies, C, snubs, D, rejects. Yes, so if you can replace decline with rejects, if he rejects the offer, that's absolutely correct. Don't forget, we are looking at synonyms, which is nearest in meaning. 34, our club encourages benevolence. A, affluence, affluence is rich, being rich. C, sincerity, no. B, sincerity, no. C, charity, that's quite correct. You know, charity is when you show kindness to people, and benevolence is just what charity is all about. 35, such utterances are inimical to the peaceful existence of two communities. If something is inimical, it is harmful. All right, so option A, unhelpful, no. B, unimportant, no. C, harmful, that's quite correct. 36, the chairman observed that Andrew was the most qualified. A, suitable, that's quite correct. If you are qualified for something, you are suitable for it. You are suitable for that position. 37, what do you intend to do with these inanimate objects? If something is inanimate, of course, it is not a living object. A, lively, no? Yes, lively, that's quite okay. No, if we are talking of opposite, we should be talking of lively. We are now talking of nearest in meaning. So inanimate is the opposite of lively. B, fascinating, no. C, precious, no. D, lifeless. Lifeless objects are inanimate objects. Now, 38, everybody noticed that the chairman's excuse was lame. That means it's unacceptable, it's not proper. A, verbose, no. B, precise, no. C, unsatisfactory. That's quite correct. A lame excuse is an unacceptable, unsatisfactory excuse. 39, the president appointed staunch supporters of his policies as advisors. Very strong supporters, right? A, trusted, well. B, critical. C, affluent. D, strong. I would prefer the word strong as a replacement for staunch. 40, the little boy gave his candid opinion of the incident. Candid, sincere, frank. A, quick, no. B, brief, no. C, frank, that's quite correct. Section 5. From the word or group of words lettered A to D, choose the word or group of words that best completes each of the following sentences. 41. Why are you always jealous dash other people? The preposition is of. Jealous of. You don't talk of jealous at or jealous about or jealous with. No. Jealous of. 42. It is sad that the rich dash pity the poor. Well, don't forget that the rich here is what we call a grammatical nominalization. When you nominalize an adjective, it means you can add the definite article to an adjective to make it a noun phrase. But when you do that, that noun phrase becomes a plural subject. So that's the grammatical rule. The rich doesn't know. When you say a rich man doesn't, that's a single subject, singular subject. B, don't, that's quite correct, because don't, is grammatically correct to use with rich. Here we are talking of rule of concord. And the rule of concord states that a singular subject requires a singular verb and a plural subject requires a plural verb. The rich here is a plural subject, so it requires a plural verb. Don't. Doesn't is a singular verb. 43, the motorcycle nearly hit Jane and dash. Me, that's quite correct. A lot of people would tell you the motorcycle nearly hit Jane and I. No, that's not quite correct. It breaks a grammatical rule of concord. Of course, we are talking of the objective here. Hit Jane and me. Me is the objective personal pronoun, but I is the subjective. You can say, I was nearly hit by the motorcycle, but you cannot say the motorcycle nearly hit I. No, it's ungrammatical. So the objective form is me. So to confuse you, the examiner put Jane and dash, because people usually say Jane and I, but that's doesn't apply here. You can say Jane and I were nearly hit by the motorcycle. But if you are saying the motorcycle nearly hit Jane and me, all right, that's the correct form. 44, I found my friends sitting dash the beach. A, in, B, at, C, under, D, on. Of course, the appropriate thing is on the beach. That's the preposition, on the beach, all right? 45, it is about time you dash to bed. Of course, this is also a rule of concord. When you use an expression like it is time, or it is about time, or it is high time, what follows must be a simple past tense of the verb. So it is about time you went to bed, all right? It's about time you went to bed. 46, we shall not dash Wassce next May. All right, so we have option A, sit in, B, sit, C, sit, and D, sit to. Of course, the appropriate answer is sit. You have a double option here. That is a typo, something is omitted in one. But the appropriate thing is sit. There are two ways of putting it. We shall not sit for Wassce next May, or we shall not sit. You can sit an exam, or you sit for an exam. So it is appropriate to say we shall not sit Wassce next May. All right, 47, one of his close friends dash a soldier. One of, when you say one of, what must follow is a singular verb. One of his close friends is a soldier. So A is the right answer. 48, does Omar dash in the city? Lives? No, when you say does, you cannot come with lives again. Then B, does Omar lived? No, you will be breaking the rule that governs the sequence of tenses. All right? The appropriate answer is C, which is live. Does Omar live in the city? That sounds grammatically correct. 49, the meeting of the dash will come later today. Secretaries General, that's the correct thing. You know, to pluralize a compound noun, you pluralize the major, I mean, the head word. And the head word here is secretary, all right? General is a kind of modifier. You can have a publicity secretary, you can have these different types of secretaries, but the major head word there is secretaries. So when you have a plural, a compound noun, you look for the key word, the one that is the head word, and pluralize it. So secretaries is not secretary generals, it is secretaries general. Just as you say, you know, heads of department, because you have heads of department, heads of government, heads of that. So you look for the key word and pluralize that. 50, his father has a dash. So here we are looking at, you know, what we call the adjectives word order. When you have two or more adjectives used within a noun phrase, then there is a rule for actually knowing which adjective should come first. But then the general principle is that what comes first is usually the adjective of quality will come, what is called the observation adjective, the one that has to do with observation or opinion. Opinion comes before fact, all right? That's the principle. So let's now use that principle to look at A, round wooden beautiful table. No, because beautiful should come first. You know, beautiful is opinion, then round is shape, then wooden is material. Material should come towards the end. So beautiful should come first, followed by round, followed by wooden, and then we have table. B, wooden round, no. C, beautiful wooden round table, no. D, beautiful round wooden table. Perfect. That's the option. D, beautiful round wooden table. Now I've done a lecture on, you know, the secrets for, you know, the secrets for mastering the adjectives word order. You can look for that video lesson and watch it. I will try and include it below. So I will include a link how to master the secrets for mastering the adjectives word order. Now 51, the teachers don't teach us dash. All right, this is tag question. And the rule for tag question is that when you have positive coming first, then what follows is negative. Then when you have negative, you must it must be followed by positive. So positive, negative, or negative, positive. So let's look at here. Teachers don't teach us, so we have negative. What should follow should be positive. Do they? All right, so that's the appropriate tag. Do they? That is option A. 52, we are no dash friends. No more friends, no longer friends. You know, you can say we are not friends anymore or any longer, but when you are talking of no longer, you should prefer no longer to know more. 53, can you tell us how the accident came dash? A, up, no. B, by, no. C, out, no. D, about, correct. If something comes about, it happens. How did it happen? You know, how did it come about? All right. 54, she wondered if the water was not dashed for drinking, too hot for drinking. 55, the robbers were subjected to. Of course, that is the word, the adjective that always accompanies to. You are subjected to something. You know, you are not subjected by or with or for. You are subjected to a thorough beating by the irate mob. 56, the cook should have dashed the pepper and the tomatoes together. A, ground, yes, ground is the past tense of grind. So grind is wrong because it's now talking of something that already passed, the past participle. Grinds, no, grounded is out of it completely. 57, my friends would not believe me if I dashed them this story. You know, they would not believe me if I tell them, no, would is the past tense of will. If I told them, that's quite correct. Or if I'm telling them no, we'll tell them no. You know, if I told them, all right? 58, even before his burial, Okoye's family members were already planning how to share his wealth dash themselves. Here we have more than two. If there are two persons, we will be talking of sharing between the two persons. But once it's more than two persons, the appropriate thing is among, sharing, planning to share his wealth among themselves. 59, the principal advised all the students to be of help to the students again, more than two. If it is two, then we can say to each other. But since it is more than two, it is one another. All right? Then 60, Mr. Akon needed dash help to succeed in the business, a little help, all right? Now 61, Susan has been urging me to join the dash Girl Guides. That's quite correct. You know, Girl Guides is the appropriate thing. In America, they talk of the Girl Scout, but here we are looking at the Girl Guides. That's quite correct. 62, 3 kilometers dash quite a long distance. When you have units of money or units of measurement, even though it is pluralized, it takes a singular verb. So 3 kilometers is quite a long distance. You cannot say $1 million are, no, you say $1 million is. All right, so that's the way it is. 63, if they had known us, the dash will not have treated us like that, no, would not treat us like that, no, will not have treated us like that, no, D, would not have treated us like that. 64, the teacher made us dash 5 poems each day, made us recite. You know, you cannot say made us recite it. That would be not double past. Made us recite. 65, each one of the 10 chosen contestants dash lunch with the patron has had, because each is, we must take a singular verb, has had lunch with the patron. 66, the teacher needs dash to write the note on the chalkboard. Now, chalk as material is uncountable, right? Even though in some cases you might look at a piece of chalk as a chalk, in this context, it's not, because we already have options that suggest that the examiner has the uncountable variety in mind. A, chalks, no. B, a chalk, no. C, some chalk. That's quite correct. The teacher needs some chalk to write the note on the board. 67, Madam Abike turned dash 13 bags of maize at the first harvest. A, turned on, no. B, turned out, yes. You turn out something, you produce it. A factory turns out, bags of this or that. 68, the teacher as well as the students dash working very hard. When you have the expression as well as following a singular subject, of course, the verb must be singular because you can see also the comma separating this. So the verb here is subject to the actual subject, which is this singular one. The teacher is working hard, in spite of the fact that you have as well as his students. That doesn't mean change the situation. 69, it would have been different if we say the teacher and his students, then we say are working hard. But here, the verb is about the teacher. 69, the mother remarked that it was high time we dash preparing for the supper. We started. I earlier mentioned that when you say it's high time or it's time, simple past tense must follow. So it's high time we started preparing the supper. 70, all we need dash dedicated teachers. All we need are, because we have plural teachers here, all we need are, if we have a singular here, all we need is a dedicated teacher. But here we have are, all we need are dedicated teachers. 71, though Yusuf is a much younger lawyer, you cannot compare his eloquence dash his masters. You compare with, with his masters, You compare something with, so that's exactly. You either compare with or you compare to. 72, the student wondered why the sun constantly rises in the east. Rises in the east, so option A is correct. 73, Mrs. Kofi is angry dash her daughter's lack of interest in her business. You can be angry at something, but you can be angry with somebody. So if you are talking of something, you are angry at it. You are talking of someone, you are angry with the person. So, but here is talking of Mrs. Kofi is angry at her daughter's lack of interest in her business. So at is correct. 74, until I heard him myself, I dash imagine that he said that. Well, A, did not imagine, no, could not have imagined. You see, could not have imagined. That's quite correct. 75, no sooner had the war started than the soldiers deserted the village. Whenever you find no sooner had, then than. No sooner collocates with than. Now, section 6, which is actually the last one. In the following passages, the numbered gaps indicate missing words. Against each, 4 options are given. Let's look at this. The prefectorial system is one of the most effective ways of involving students directly in the dash of the school. Okay, effective B, that's correct. The school, we talk of school, we talk of administration, not government, not construction or anything. All right? In the system, the students are dash certain dash connected with the day-to-day life of the school, are dash certain 78, delegated. When you delegate, you give them certain words. 79, work, no, jobs, duties. You talk of duties among students, all right? So that is register, putting proper words in proper places. Okay? For instance, the organization and coordination of all sorts of dash activities such as games, societies, clubs, or dealing with some minor cases of dash and dash, okay? What kinds of activities are games? They are extracurricular activities. So social, no, academic, no, extracurricular, yes. Then 81, what do we have among students? Indiscipline, all right? And then 81, and supervision, assignment, administering, planning, okay? Supervision, okay? Let's look at this. And some minor cases of indiscipline. Of course, that we have already noted here. Taking responsibility for students' welfare, dash of learning after school hours, supervision of learning, that's quite correct, after school hours, arranging advisory services for junior students, and checking dash, 83, checking attendance, students can check attendance, all right? Properly dash, the prefectorial system helps to dash the work of the administrator and set a good dash for the school, all right? Properly what? 84, properly operated. You operate a system, you don't rule it, you don't manipulate it, all right? And then we talk of 85, limit, no? You minimize the duties or the work of the administrator. And the next one, feeling, to set the feeling, no? You set the tone. You set the tone. That's the appropriate word. Set the tone for the school. The operation of the system and the exact dash performed by the prefect. Prefects perform their functions, of course, differ from institution to institution. The important thing is to adapt the system in such ways as to make it a useful dash of the day-to-day administration of your dash. All right, let's look at the exact 87, records, cutlass, functions. Students perform functions. The appropriate implement feature, no, we can talk of tool for, but a feature of, yes, appropriate to make it a useful feature of the day-to-day administration of your community. We talk of the school community. Now, the last page, which is passage, which is passage B, Mrs. Agu decided to dash her friend. You know, connect, ring, stay, wake. You ring someone when you call them on phone. You ring. She picked up her dash and dashed her friend's dash. Picked up her card, no, her mobile, because mobile. That's another name for phone or mobile phone, mobile. Okay? And dial, you dial someone's number. So, and dial her number. So C is 93, dial her number. There was no response. However, after a few trials, she discovered from the dash that she was not in dash. Who do you discover from? If you are calling and there's something going on, it's the operator that tells you. So she discovered from the operator, all right? Not the receiver, not the caller, not the subscriber, right? You are the subscriber. Discovered from the operator that she was not in credit, didn't have credits, all right? And so the dash could not go dash. Of course, we are talking of a call here. The call could not go through, so you can see go through. So this is the language of telephone. That was surprising because she had brought some dash cards, you talk of recharge cards, the previous day and did not dash any call. You make a call, of course. So recharge cards and then make call, of course, the previous day and did not dash any call. However, she could remember dash them into her phone. She could remember loading, you load your recharge card. So that's how it has been In today's lecture, we have been able to look at how to answer questions on, the English objective test questions in the WAEC and Neco exams. Please subscribe to this channel if you're interested in receiving other lectures like this. See you in the next video, and bye-bye for now.